Hi everybody, this is a video about diet and mold toxicity. As per usual, nothing in my video should be construed as medical advice. This is for informational purposes only, and if you need medical advice, please talk to your healthcare provider to obtain that advice. So somebody posted a question on one of my videos recently saying what are some mold feeding foods, or what types of foods should one avoid when they have an issue with mold toxicity. And if memory serves, I think the question was posted on one of my videos where I was talking about, I think, prep for mold testing, a urine mycotoxin test, or there's something I think around test prep. So I kind of mentioned something about mold and diet, if memory serves. And in my clinical experience, I have found that when it comes to prepping for a mold test, avoiding moldy or more typically moldy foods is typically it's a good idea to do it, to err on the side of caution. To my understanding, there is some evidence to suggest that the food that we eat, and whether it's moldy or not, doesn't really impact the results of a urine mycotoxin test. But just in case it does, it's not really that difficult to avoid those foods. I usually recommend them for avoiding them for about 48 hours leading up to the test, or 72 hours, one or the other. I can't remember now. But anyways, when it comes to actually seeing what types of foods do patients react to when they have mold toxicity, in my clinical experience, I haven't found that it really makes much of a difference whether patients are on a low moldy food diet or not. And I say that within the context that I've had hundreds and hundreds of patients with mold illness, and of those patients, many of them have been very, very sensitive. So I know that some clinicians out there are, dead set on saying, like, no, folks with mold illness have to avoid those foods. It's really important. I haven't really seen the clinical benefit of that. Now, with that being said, there are some foods that are classically moldier foods, like, say, nuts, for example, particularly peanuts, where I have patients who definitely flare from peanuts, but it's typically because they also have SIBO along with their mold illness, or maybe they're histamine intolerant and they're reacting to the peanuts for that reason, for example. Or alcohol is something that's generally considered part of an anti-mold, or a mold unfriendly diet. But again, folks who have sulfite sensitivity, or have histamine intolerance, or they have a liver detox pathway clogged up issues, and they just can't really process the alcohol well, those would all be reasons why maybe they might not tolerate it. But I haven't really seen that be an issue because of the mold itself per se. So the question was around, like, what are some of those moldier foods? So I just kind of want to give that background around, is it something that I really talk to all of my patients with mold toxicity about? No, it isn't. Now, if you're listening to this video / watching this video and you've had a different experience, if you've found that avoiding foods that are classically moldy has been really important for you with respect to mold illness, please post in the comment section below. I'd be really curious to hear about your experience. I'm just saying what I've seen in my experience, but I'd love to hear what other people have to say. And again, if you're listening to this thinking, like, I definitely react to melons and I definitely react to aged cheeses, again, like, just looking at it through the lens of, is that definitely because of the mold, or is it because of some other coexisting morbidity that's going on? So just asking you to kind of answer through that filter, but please let me know. And maybe in some cases we don't know. Maybe people are reacting to those things in part because of the fact that they have mold illness, and maybe in part because they have SIBO, and it's worse because they have both. I can't say that for sure. The foods that I generally consider to be important or worthwhile to avoid in terms of a mold test prep protocol would be ones I've mentioned. Some of them I've mentioned already. So really anything fermented, alcohol being on that list as well, melons, nuts and seeds, coffee, just where some coffee is mold contaminated, so just to err on the side of caution there. Chocolate would be another one for the same reasons. Of course, these are things that come from beans, so kind of in the beans would be something else to be mindful of as well. I think those are the main ones. There might be a couple of other little niggling ones I can't remember, but I just have a little write-up that I send to my patients, and those are the main ones that jump out and spring to mind. So thank you for the question. I hope that answered your question. If anyone has any comments around this topic, I'd be curious to hear about your feedback. And if anybody has any questions about this topic or anything else, just post in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer as soon as I can.